Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the degree candidates and faculty of the University of Notre Dame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our honorees, the deans, and other distinguished members of the Commencement Platform Party.
Dear graduates, family members, and friends, on behalf of the President, Provost, Vice Presidents, Deans, and faculty of the University of Notre Dame, I welcome you to this joyous celebration. Today, we will confer degrees upon students whom we honor for lives of scholarship and research, and we will charge them to place their learning in the service of humanity. In the platform party, please be seated. My name is Laura Carlson, and I serve as Dean of the Graduate School, Vice President and Associate Provost, and Professor of Psychology. It is my honor to introduce members of the Platform Party, and I ask that they please stand when I call their name. Father John Jenkins, President of the University. Professor This will take a while. If you clap after each one, maybe we'll hold our applause till after. Don't be slighted, Tom. Professor Tom Burrish, the Charles and Jill Fisher Provost of the University. Professor Chris Mazur, Vice President and Senior Associate Provost. Professor Maura Ryan, Vice President and Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs. Dr. Michael Pippinger, Vice President and Associate Provost for Internationalization. Professor Bob Bernhard, Vice President for Research. Dr. Brian Ritchie, Vice President and Associate Provost for Innovation. Professor John McGreevy, the I.A. O'Shaughnessy Dean of the College of Arts and Letters. Professor Peter Kilpatrick, the Matthew M. McCloskey Dean of the College of Engineering. Professor Scott Appleby, the Marilyn Keough Dean of the Keough School of Global Affairs. And Professor Mary Galvin, the William K. Warren Foundation Dean of the College of Science. Please welcome them. I now ask Patrick Griffin, this year's winner of the Reverend James A. Burns CSC Award, to come forward to deliver the invocation. Please rise.
I would like to share a brief story. In the winter of 1842, just after Father Soren had arrived at the place where we're at today, he and his fellow Holy Cross came across a humble log chapel, and there founded what he grandiloquently called the University of Notre Dame du Lac. In this small wooden building, he lit a sanctuary lamp to let all know that Christ was with them as they began what he hoped to be a great work. In a letter home, he wrote, quote, "We are joyful. We have the Lord with us. Only tonight we hung our sanctuary lamp where none had hung before. They tell us we won't be able to keep it burning, but we have a little olive oil, and it will burn while it lasts. We can see it through the woods, and it lights the humble home where our Master dwells. We tell each other that we are not alone, that Jesus Christ lives among us. It gives us courage." Let us pray. Holy Father, the same God that showed the way to Father Soren, bless us and be with us on this joyous day. May we thank you for all you've done for us in bringing us to this moment. We ask that you will always show us the way, just as you did for Father Soren all those years ago. We pray that you will dwell with us here and now. We also humbly ask that we too may have the faith in the sanctuary lamp, that we know your presence and believe that you will never leave us, even in the dead of winter. Let your light burn within each of us. Finally, we ask you to give us the courage to dream today in just the way that Father Soren did 175 years ago. May we dare to imagine how we can be a force for good in this world that needs our gifts. Be with us, Lord, today and all days as we try to do your will. We ask this through the intercession of Notre Dame, our mother, and in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Please be seated. It is my honor to introduce the Graduate School's 2017 commencement speaker, Mr. Richard C. Notabart. Dick is one of the nation's most celebrated and accomplished executives in the telecommunications industry. He has been the chairman and CEO of 3 companies, Tel Labs, Ameritech, and Quest Communications. When Bell Telephone was forced to split up into what were called baby bells, Dick was credited with making Ameritech the most successful of them. When Quest was reportedly heading for bankruptcy, Dick was brought in to turn the company around, and he did, beating everyone's expectations. Dick is widely admired not only for his executive skills, but also for his commitment to his employees. He would frequently be found walking around the plant, speaking with his employees, consulting with them, asking them his advice. As you might guess, they thought the world of him as their leader. Dick's extraordinary executive background is perhaps more common for someone to be invited to speak at a top business school. Why did we invite Dick to speak at the graduate school commencement? There are 3 reasons. The first is because of his knowledge of and impact on Notre Dame. Until recently, Dick served as chairman of the Board of Trustees, and as such, he had a profound impact in shaping Notre Dame's future. In recognition of his many vital contributions in that role, and countless other ways that he contributed and served Notre Dame, Dick was the first person to be honored with a Hesburgh-Steppen Medal, given to a trustee for exemplary contributions to the governance and mission of Notre Dame. He is also the recipient of an honorary doctorate from Notre Dame. Dick knows this university intimately. He loves her greatly, and his many lasting contributions will continue to shape Notre Dame for many years to come. A second reason we invited Dick to speak with us today is because of his dedication to and involvement with the graduate school. No one in the university's 175-year history has more generously supported our graduate school than Dick Notabart and his wife Peggy. Recognizing the critical nature of the graduate school among Notre Dame's strategic academic priorities, and that this area was among the most difficult for which to raise funds, Dick and Peggy decided they would do everything they could to address this priority at Notre Dame. And they did, devoting their time and talents and treasure to help strengthen the school from which you are graduating today. The third and perhaps major reason we invited Dick to speak to you today is because he is an outstanding and inspiring example of the person we hope those who attend our graduate school will become. Someone with the intellect to solve challenging problems, someone with the determination and vision to make a significant impact on his chosen field, and someone who demonstrates concern for others and contributes meaningfully to society. Dick has always believed that how you lead your life is more important than how much success you have in your career. In fact, Dick believes that how you lead your life may be the single most important factor in determining the success you will have in your career. And Notre Dame believes this as well. That is why we invited Dick to be our commencement speaker. That is why we are so grateful that he accepted. And that is why it is such an honor for me to introduce the Graduate School's 2017 commencement speaker, Mr. Richard C. Notabart.
Father Jenkins, Provost Burrish, Dean Carlson, distinguished faculty, staff, family, and friends, and especially you, the members of the graduating class of 2017. This is a really special day, isn't it? I mean, it's so special. A day to celebrate, and let me add my congratulations to you. Congratulations to each of you. You know, as I read about your amazing achievements and considered your outstanding education, I really wondered what I might contribute here today to help equip you for your future endeavors. So I'm going to share some insights that I've learned over my many years, and it's been with the help and guidance of my mentors. Let me start with just two of my mentors. There have been many, and what I have learned from them. And then I will share several other key items that have changed my life and been the keys to success and happiness. So my first mentor, the one I think of the most, is my wife, Peggy. I met her in my freshman year of college. Besides being the best thing that ever happened to me, she has always been an invaluable barometer on everything I do. You know, that has convinced me that each of us needs a confidant, a friend, a family member, an associate that will tell us when we are moving too fast or too slow or in the wrong direction, and who really cares enough about us to be honest about the things that they feel we need to know. Another example of one of my mentors was a gentleman by the name of Bill Weiss. In the 1980s and 1990s, I had the privilege to work with and for Bill Weiss. He was the chairman of our company. He promoted me. He lectured me. He shared triumph and anguish and every emotion in between with me. But most of all, he provided me with the equivalent of a doctorate in effective leadership and what it is all about. He was a person who taught me to seek out other people's views, to find out how they felt about problems and solutions. He would encourage pushback and wanted input from the people he knew that would see the world through different lenses. He never got upset. He never got defensive because he had learned the importance that this interaction would be the key to a solution, and people's involvement would be the key to that solution's implementation. I learned that that really made the path to success a team effort. The other part of that path was that once the leader took the input and made the decision, we were committed. There was no waffling, no turtling. We called it democratic input and dictatorial execution. You know, we all need coaches, and we all need to truly listen and learn from them. So here are 3 more insights I've learned over the years. First is that you need to have passion, that you do what you do because you truly love it. Passion creates energy. You know, the people I worked with would not let me drink coffee and would be really upset if I didn't run in the morning before I came to work. They said my energy level was just too high for them, and that if I didn't follow their advice, there would be a problem. I just couldn't get to the office quick enough in the morning. I love Mondays. I didn't like Fridays. And I would get there and couldn't wait to solve the issues. You know, it took me years to figure out that that energy level that was driving me was the fact that my job was not a job. It was more than that. It was not work. It was my life. So I advise you to pursue whatever it is that gives you that sense of true fulfillment. Of course, that doesn't mean there won't be times of frustration. Go in the other room, let it out, and come back out with a smile. Makes a difference. You know, if you have this passion, you also need to focus on what the goals are. You need a goal orientation. What do you want to achieve? What are the various avenues that will take you there? And then how will you measure success? How will you make it? What will the awards be? Will it be an award itself or a publication? Will it be the success of those you help? Only you can make that determination. You know, we see this passionate goal orientation. I see it in you today. I mean, the fact that you have studied so hard, committed time and effort, reaching today. You've made sacrifices and trade-offs, and that's what I'm talking about. And then some people have asked me about this. They've said, well, Dick, do you think there ought to be a 5-year plan? Should I have a 5-year plan? And for some people, that does make a lot of sense. But in the world of the professional, you need a 90-day plan taking you on that path. The world we live in is one of rapid change. I mean, technology especially is redefining itself constantly. So I think we need to have both a clear picture of what we want to achieve and the flexibility to adapt to the new realities. And that path we're talking about, whether it's a 5-year or a 90-day, will have many twists and turns and even setbacks. I mean, I experienced 2 demotions in my career, and it really did help me on what I wanted to be, on the travel. That was okay, because when I actually look back at those setbacks, they were just bumps along the road to the end game. Those demotions were great learning experiences for me, because the assignments that I was put into by Bill were areas I needed to learn and experience and to grow in. So let me give you the next lesson, and that is balance is not just a good idea, but it is truly essential to the success of every aspect of your future. You may have heard the saying that God gave us 24 hours, 8 hours to work, 8 hours to sleep, and 8 hours for our personal lives to keep them on track. And while the number of hours can vary for each of us, it's important not to neglect any of those 3 areas. Consistently abuse your body with lack of sleep or exercise, junk food or other harmful substances, and you will pay the price. Consistently work 12-hour days. You know, toil at it in something that you really don't enjoy and it makes you miserable, and watch your health and personal life disintegrate. focus on personal activities to the exclusion of work and health, and miss the satisfaction of making a difference with a worthwhile contribution. Or neglect your personal life and wake up 20 years from now wondering, what is the point? I've seen people make these mistakes more times than I care to remember. So what I do know now is that balance is important, and only you can determine that balance, because we're all different. And I hope you'll diligently pursue it. And finally, my last piece of advice, possibly the most important one of all, and that is as you reach for the definition of success, you conduct yourselves in ways that will pass the newspaper test. And I'm talking here about the critical matter of personal and professional integrity. The newspaper test is the simple conscious practice of looking at choices that you have in terms of the question, if I do this, and it were to appear on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper, or in today's world, some blog or YouTube, would I be okay with that? Social media has really changed all of that, hasn't it? There's usually in social media criticism, second guessing, but you need to always know inside of you that you've done the right thing for the right reason. I've always said it's okay to make a mistake if the motive was right. Learn from it and move on. This has been an important touchstone in every organization I've led. In fact, I doubt you could have found anyone at Quest out in Denver who couldn't tell you exactly what that test was and the value of applying it. You know, there are too many people in business and in government, in sports, and in virtually every other facet of society can tell you, they can all say the same thing. Trust broken can seldom be regained, and personal integrity is far too valuable an asset to ever risk. Okay, and that's my short course on what I know now. All the things you know this day as you launch your future, the future you envision. So congratulations, graduates. Congratulations, parents, spouses, friends. And thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your celebration today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Notabart, certainly for the extraordinary impact of your vision and generosity with the Notabart Fellowships they've had for graduate students at Notre Dame, for your view of leadership as a skill that all should cultivate, and for your advice on seeing setbacks as an opportunity to learn and grow. We are indeed honored to have you as such a friend of the university. Thank you. We come now to the awarding of the degrees. We will first recognize our PhD recipients. A PhD is the highest earned degree the university bestows. Today's recipients join a very select group, with fewer than 1% of the U.S. population possessing a PhD. Graduates, today we recognize your commitment, close study, careful reading, countless hours, and endless cups of coffee that have led you to discoveries that have pushed forward the frontiers of knowledge. I now call on Professor John McGreevy, the Dean of the College of Arts and Letters, to present his candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and the Doctorate of Musical Arts in the College of Arts and Letters and their directors please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Todd Atkins, Ashburn, Virginia, Political Science, directed by Jeff Lehman. Dimitris Apostolopoulos, Toronto, Canada, Philosophy, directed by Steve Watson and Gary Gutting. Andre Pierre Audette, Rice Lake, Wisconsin, Political Science, directed by David Campbell. Jade Avalos, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sociology, directed by Jessica Collette. Rachel Callahan Baird, Mishawaka, Indiana, Psychology, directed by Scott Maxwell. Peter John Barwis, Eagle, Wisconsin, Sociology, directed by Rory McVeigh. Laura Elizabeth Bland, Greenwood, Mississippi, History and Philosophy of Science, directed by Robert Goulding. Jessica Marie Blackston, St. Paul, Minnesota, Psychology, directed by Cindy Bergerman. Catherine Mary Green Bolefeld, Geneva, Illinois, Political Science, directed by Michael Desch. Megan Catherine Kane, San Antonio, Texas, Psychology, directed by Jishong Zhang and Kihai Wan. Michelle Comas, Orlando, Florida, Psychology, directed by Kristen Valentino. Madeline Ann Cronin, Santa Clara, California, Political Science, directed by Eileen Botting. Elizabeth Jordan Daly, McLean, Virginia, Psychology, directed by Leanna Clark. Christy Lynn Donaldson, Palm Harbor, Florida, Sociology, directed by William Carbonaro and Mark Behrens. Kristen Michelle Drehos, Roanoke, Virginia, Theology, directed by Cyril O'Regan. Allison Marie Edgren, Collegeville, Pennsylvania, History, directed by John Van Engen. Peter William Finocchiaro, Syracuse, New York, Philosophy, directed by Michael Ray. Carrie Marie Fuller, Lancaster, California, English, directed by Catherine Kirby Fulton. Allison Elizabeth Gaffey Grissom, Old Lyme, Connecticut, Psychology, directed by Michelle Worth. Patrick James Gomez, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Philosophy, directed by Stephen Watson and Gary Gutting. Andrew John Allen Geist, Portland, Oregon, Theology, directed by Gary Anderson. Mark Francis Hopkemeyer, South Bend, Political Science, directed by Patrick Deneen. Carolyn Bird Hohenberg, Charlotte, North Carolina, Psychology, directed by Nicole McNeil. Nathaniel Ryan Houston, Carthage, Illinois, Political Science, directed by Michael Desch. Amy Elizabeth Jonason, Indianapolis, Indiana, Sociology, directed by Erica Summers-Elfeler. Craig William Kinnear, South Bend, Indiana, History, directed by John Coleman. Laura Gamboa Gutierrez, Bogota, Colombia, Political Science, directed by Scott Mainwaring. Andrew William Klein, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, English, directed by Catherine Kirby Fulton. Elizabeth Ann Klein, Merlin, Ontario, Theology, directed by John Cavadini. Erin Marie Krause, Westboro, Massachusetts, History, directed by Patrick Griffin. Javier Laneo Camara, Barcelona, Spain, Philosophy, directed by Anjan Chakravarti. Matthew John Kuiper, South Bend, Indiana, Theology, directed by Gabriel Reynolds. Anna Catherine Seebach Larson, Orem, Utah, Medieval Studies, directed by Catherine Kirby Fulton. Erica Ruth Maculak, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, English, directed by Catherine Kirby Fulton. Catherine Mahan, Silver Lake, Minnesota, Theology, directed by Maxwell Johnson. John Salvatore Marchese, Springfield, Pennsylvania, Romance, Languages, and Literature, directed by Tom Anderson. Angel Daniel Matos, Aguada, Puerto Rico, English, directed by Susan Harris and Barry McCrae. Daniel Bradley MacArthur, Cordova, Maryland, Psychology, directed by Gita Lupke. Joshua Wayne McCollum, Lumberton, Texas, Philosophy, directed by Paul Weithman. Melissa Diane McCool, Armada, Michigan, English, directed by Sarah Maurer. Meredith Maher, Queens, New York, History, directed by John McGreevy and Patrick Griffin. Emily Marie Meixner, Ashland, Ohio, Oregon, directed by Craig Kramer. Patrick Jerome Miller, Hutchinson, Kansas, Psychology, directed by Gita Lupke. Caitlin Spencer Mills, Collierville, Tennessee, Psychology, directed by Sidney DeMello. Stephen Joseph Mulverick, Buffalo, New York, History, directed by John Van Engen. Brian Michael Santine, Toronto, Ohio, English, directed by Sandra Gustafson and Matthew Wilkins. Daniel Patrick Murphy, English, Vancouver, Washington, directed by Kate Marshall. Robinson O. Murphy, Cohasset, Massachusetts, English, directed by Susan Harris. Sean Myers, Hull, Massachusetts, Theology, directed by David Fagerberg. Emily Ann Ransom, Rollsville, North Carolina, English, directed by Susanna Monta. Jordan Michael Rogers, Glendale, Kentucky, philosophy, directed by Carl Amerix. David Charles Rosick, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, psychology, directed by Ann Simmons. Dashta Stefanova, Komsomolska Amur, Russian Federation, economics, directed by Timothy First and Eric Sims. Aaron David Sanders, Durham, North Carolina, theology, directed by Randall Zachman. Nathan Peter Sawatsky, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, political science, directed by Catherine Zuckert. Margaret Irene Schmidt, Knoxville, Tennessee, philosophy, directed by Jeffrey Speaks. Jonathan Dollard Schwartz, Indianapolis, Indiana, sociology, directed by William Carbonaro. Ji-Hae Shin, Guyang, Korea, the Republic of Korea, political science, directed by Sebastian Rosado. Michael Skaggs, Clarksville, Indiana, history, directed by Kathleen Cummings. John Philip Slattery, Metairie, Louisiana, history and philosophy of science, directed by Matthew Ashley. Lisa Marie Weaver Schwartz, Lexington, Kentucky, sociology, directed by Marilyn Konechka. Jeffrey Michael Tolley, Matthews, North Carolina, philosophy, directed by Ted Warfield. Baylin Vicens, Reus, Spain, history, directed by John Van Ingen. Jin Wang, Lutso, People's Republic of China, economics, directed by Joseph Kabaski. Christopher Lee Weaver, Van Buren, Arkansas, political science, directed by Jeffrey Lehman. Reverend Father President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for a doctoral degree from the College of Arts and Letters.
I now call on Professor Peter Kilpatrick, the Dean of the College of Engineering, to present his candidates for the degree of the philosophy degree, Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Engineering and their directors please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Tahsin Ahmed, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Electrical Engineering, directed by Scott Howard. Rumana Riaz Arifin, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Joe Fernando. P. Nigel Bosch, Loveland, Colorado, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Sidney DeMello. Stephen Richard Bruss, Davenport, Iowa, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Ioannis Westring. Zhuchan Aaron Chang, South Bend, Indiana, Electrical Engineering, directed by Ken Sauer. Jesse Michael Kaufman, Wabash, Indiana, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Scott Morris. Deepanwita Dasgupta, Kolkata, India, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Nitesh Chavla. Nicholas Giovanni DeLuca, Granger, Indiana, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Eric Jumper and Stas Gordial. Peter Edward Deek, Granville, Ohio, Bioengineering, directed by Bashar Bilgachar. Yu Xiao Dong, Weihai, People's Republic of China, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Nitesh Chavla. Fazli Elahi Faisal, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Tihana Malankovich. Joseph James Fillion, Sylvania, Ohio, Chemical Engineering, directed by Joan Brennicky. Lawrence William Funke, Columbia, Maryland, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Jim Schmiedler. Anjing Guo, Shantru, China, Electrical Engineering, directed by Martin Henge. Kyle Christopher Heinz, Liverpool, New York, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Tom Cork. Adam R. Hickman, Orem, Utah, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Scott Morris. Luke Justin Holman, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Electrical Engineering, directed by Bob Stevenson. Yuri Ulavadi, Lviv, Ukraine, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Tihana Malankovich. Christian Kent Hunter, Aurora, Illinois, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Diogo Bolster and Jorge Garonas. Zhengguo Zhang, Shandong, People's Republic of China, Electrical Engineering, directed by Lei Lu and Steve Ruggiero. Samuel David Jones, Blue Island, Illinois, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Tom Cork. Amir Ahmed Khan, Karachi, Pakistan, Electrical Engineering, directed by Scott Howard. Tyler Carter Krapke, Zionsville, Indiana, Bioengineering, directed by Glenn Niebuhr. Ashish Kushwaha, Kanpur, India, Chemical Engineering, directed by Rulang Guo. Tomer Levin Boyam, Herzliya, Israel, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by David Chang. Hanyu Ma, Yunnan, People's Republic of China, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Chong Na. Alicio Marin Rimoldi, Guadalajara, Mexico, Chemical Engineering, directed by Ed McGinn. Edwin Roy Matthews, Jr., Arabi, Louisiana, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Meng Wang and Eric Jumper. Haiyan Meng, Xinjiang, Henan, People's Republic of China, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Doug Thane. Ronald James Nolan, Pompano Beach, Florida, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Scott Emmerich and Marianne McDowell. Indranil Palit, Chittagong, Bangladesh, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Sharon Hu and Mike Niemeyer. Christopher Paolucci, South Bend, Indiana, Chemical Engineering, directed by Bill Schneider. Dallas J. Rensel, Sanborn, New York, Chemical Engineering, directed by Jason Hicks. Fabrizio Saba, Trigiano, Italy, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Rob Nurnberg. Itrat bin Shams, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Electrical Engineering, directed by Leilu. Quentin Ross Sheridan, Conifer, Colorado, Chemical Engineering, directed by Bill Schneider and Ed McGinn. Zachariah Jared Silver, Newtown, Connecticut, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Joe Fernando. Gongchen Xiun, Beijing, People's Republic of China, Chemical Engineering, directed by Chia Chang. Li Yuan Sun, Minchin, Gansu, People's Republic of China, Chemical Engineering, directed by Joan Brennicky. Peter Sutcliffe, Manchester, United Kingdom, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Mark Rennie and Eric Jumper. Tamutu Takakura, South Bend, Indiana, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Scott Morris. Genevieve Vigil, Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Electrical Engineering, directed by Scott Howard. Vipin Vijayan, Dayton, Ohio, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Tihana Milankovich. Jiaoshuo Wang, Handan, People's Republic of China, Computer Science and Engineering, directed by Danny Chen. Jacob Logan Weedman, Morganton, West Virginia, Chemical Engineering, directed by Bill Phillip. Wu Tong Jilin, People's Republic of China, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences, directed by Chong Na and Peter Burns. Sofei Wu, Shanghai, People's Republic of China, Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, directed by Tengfei Luo. Han Xie, Beijing, People's Republic of China, Chemical Engineering, directed by Joan Brennicky. Zongyang Yi, Yichun, People's Republic of China, Electrical Engineering, directed by Peter Bauer. Brian Yu, Millbrae, California, Chemical Engineering, directed by Yingyi Zhu and Ed McGinn. Ray Wen Zan, Xi'an, People's Republic of China, Electrical Engineering, directed by Bob Stevenson. Reverend Father President, I'm very pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for a doctoral degree from the College of Engineering.
I now call on Professor Scott Appleby, the Dean of the Keough School of Global Affairs, to present his candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Keough School of Global Affairs and their directors please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Ashley Lynn Green, Carrier, Mississippi, Peace Studies and History, directed by Felipe Fernandez Armesto. Jana L. Hunter Bowman, South Bend, Indiana, Peace Studies and Theology, directed by Gerald McKinney and Todd Whitmore. Catherine Krantz, Braunberg, Germany, Peace Studies and Political Science, directed by George A. Lopez. Kyle Brent Thompson Lambelet, Wichita, Kansas, Peace Studies and Theology, directed by Gerald McKinney. Reverend Father President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for a doctoral degree from the Keough School of Global Affairs.
I now call on Professor Mary Galvin, the Dean of the College of Science, to present her candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Sorry. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Science and their directors please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Emily O. Abarico, New Haven, Indiana, Biochemistry, directed by Holly Goodson. Kathleen Patricia Ansaldi, Penfield, New York, Mathematics, directed by Peter Cholak. Namira Fatima Baj, Hyderabad, India, Chemistry, directed by Paul Bone. Brittany Jean Barrett, Denver, Colorado, Chemistry, directed by Vlad Illick. Rachel Elaine Busserman, Thorntown, Indiana, Biological Sciences, directed by Patricia Champion. Renee Booley, Brighton, Michigan, Chemistry, directed by Sharia Mobasheri and Meilan Chang. Christina Wynn Chang, Montrose, Virginia, Biological Sciences, directed by Rebecca Winger. Chrysovolantes Constantino, Papa Cypress, Physics, directed by Mark Capier. Matthew Warren Ng, New Rochelle, New York, Biological Sciences, directed by David Severson. Rebecca Ann Marie Flaherty, Whitehall, Michigan, Biological Sciences, directed by Sean Lee. Christopher Evan Glinton, Nassau, Bahamas, Biochemistry, directed by Francis Castellino. Robert William Graff, North Muskegon, Michigan, Chemistry, directed by Haifeng Gao. Michael John Grigalunas, Snellville, Georgia, Chemistry, directed by Olaf Wiest and Paul Hellquist. Eric Carl Hansen, Hudsonville, Michigan, Chemistry, directed by Olaf Wiest and Paul Hellquist. Danilo Jara Quintero, Santiago, Chile, Chemistry, directed by Prashant Kamat. Paul Johns, Altoona, Pennsylvania, Chemistry, directed by Gregory Hartland. Julie Ann Kessler, Canton, Connecticut, Chemistry, directed by Vlad Illich. Yulia Klimenko, Kharkiv, Ukraine, Biological Sciences, directed by Mary Sharon Stack. Jeffrey Lee Kirkovich, Alsip, Illinois, Biological Sciences, directed by Richard Dahl. Mudan Machian, Pokhara, Nepal, Physics, directed by Dan Gazelta and Kathy Newman. Antonio Jacob Lepore, Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Chemistry, directed by Brandon Ashfield. Jinlin Li, Chengdu, People's Republic of China, Biological Sciences, directed by David Hyde. Weishan Li, Yuhu, People's Republic of China, Physics, directed by Mark Caprio and Stefan Frondorf. Xinlu Jian, People's Republic of China, Biochemistry, directed by Amanda Humman. EU Lushi, Kingshaw Province, China, Chemistry, directed by Peter Burns. Stephanie M. Lyons, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Physics, directed by Michael Vischer. Michael Benjamin Machen, Chicago Ridge, Illinois, Applied and Computational Math and Statistics, directed by June Lee. Shant Masura John, Los Angeles, California, Applied and Computational Math and Statistics, directed by Mark Alper. Nicholas Martin Myers, Ada, Michigan, Chemistry, directed by Maria Lieberman. Karen Marie Ostick, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, Physics, directed by Philippe Colon. Luis Giovanni Perla, Brentwood, New York, Chemistry, directed by Salvi Savoy. Sharam Poritazadi, Seattle, Washington, Biological Sciences, directed by Rebecca Winger. Nicole Marie Giovanni, Pearl River, New York, Chemistry, directed by Norman DeVicki. Mallory Kaylin Smith, Killingworth, Connecticut, Physics, directed by Ani Abrahamanian. Alicia Taylor Speck, North Andover, Massachusetts, Applied in Computational Math and Statistics, directed by Jun Lee. Michael Westbrook Stoudy, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Biochemistry, directed by Jeffrey Pang. Kireen Tembos, Rotterdam, Netherlands, Biological Sciences, hooded by Alex Perkins. Hubert King Turley IV, Memphis, Tennessee, Chemistry, directed by John Camden. Peter William Ulrichson, South Bend, Indiana, Mathematics, directed by Stefan Stoltz. Nathan Paul Vanderwerf, South Bend, Indiana, Mathematics, directed by Katrina Barron. Melinda Varga, Shipshishant, Georgia, Romania, Physics, directed by Zoltan Tuxka. Sean Villanova, Jackson, New Jersey, Chemistry, directed by Vlad Illick. Xiaofeng Wang, Weihai, People's Republic of China, Chemistry, directed by Haifeng Gao. Yuan Xing Wang, Haiyan, People's Republic of China, Chemistry, directed by Masaru Kuno. Weijia Wang, Shanghai, People's Republic of China, Mathematics, directed by Matthew Dwyer. Kalpuani Weiray Luputhu, Columbia, Sri Lanka, Physics, directed by Bruce Bunker. Emily Ann Williams, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Biological Sciences, directed by Patricia Champion. Wei Shu, Shanghai, People's Republic of China, Chemistry, directed by Paul Bone. Suk-Yoon Yoon, Ulsan, Republic of Korea, Chemistry, directed by Prashant Kamat. Victoria Renee Zelmer, New Berlin, Wisconsin, Biological Sciences, directed by Shiwan Zhang. Ximing Zhao, Shanghai, People's Republic of China, Chemistry, directed by Norman DeVicki. Thank you. Yes. Reverend Father President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for the doctoral degree in the College of Science.
Would all doctoral candidates, recipients, please rise now. Thank you, Dean McGreevy, Dean Kilpatrick, Dean Appleby, Dean Galvin, and Dean Carlson. And now, by the authority vested in me as president of the University of Notre Dame du Lac, and in the name of the trustees of the university and its faculty, I solemnly and publicly confer on you the degree recommended by your dean. We admit you to all its rights and privileges and remind you of the responsibilities you are about to assume. May God bless you and keep you. Congratulations and very best wishes.
Congratulations. You can be seated. At this time, the graduate school honors the recipients of its annual awards. The Eli J. and Helen Shaheen Award recognizes the superior academic achievement of a graduating doctoral student in each of the 4 divisions of the graduate school: science, engineering, social sciences, and humanities. It is now my pleasure to let each of the award winners tell you about their research. I will then provide their award citations.
I'm Renee Boley. I'm originally from Brighton, Michigan, and I was in the PhD program in chemistry and biochemistry at Notre Dame. My PhD research was on looking for new antibiotics for resistant organisms. Specifically, I worked with MRSA or MRSA. In the news, you a lot of times will see things about MRSA or carbapenem resistance or all these other different bugs that people don't really know about until they're hospitalized, and all of a sudden the doctor tells you you have a resistant infection and we don't have any drugs that can treat it. So the antibiotics that I discovered and worked with at Notre Dame were very selective and very potent against MRSA infections specifically. So right now I am a postdoctoral researcher at U of M, University of Michigan. We do structure-based drug design, so you solve the structure of a protein and kind of design drugs based on the structural architecture of the protein.
My name is Matthew Kuiper. I'm originally from Lansing, Michigan. And at Notre Dame, I got my PhD in the World Religions and World Church PhD program in the Department of Theology. And within that program, I specialized in Islamic history. So the major focus of my research at present is Islamic missionary activity and how different Muslim organizations and movements are seeking to foster a greater understanding of Islam, seeking to counteract what they see as rampant misperceptions about Islam. I do take a special focus on these kind of movements within the South Asian, Indian environment especially. This coming fall of 2017, I'll be beginning as an assistant professor in the Religious Studies Department at Missouri State University in Springfield.
My name is Laura Gamboa. I'm originally from Colombia, and I got my PhD from the Political Science Department. The subject of my research is democracy. I'm interested in democracy, how democracies survive, how they fall apart. And more specifically, I focus on presidents who come to power and try to increase their powers and stay in office forever, and in particular, what oppositions can do to stop them from doing that. I analyze 2 cases in my dissertation, the case of Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and the case of Álvaro Uribe in Colombia. For me, a democracy needs to have rule of law or checks and balances, as people more commonly know them. We need to be able to check the person in power so that he actually is accountable to the people. So I'm currently an assistant professor at Utah State University.
I'm Chris Paolucci. I was born in California and I lived most of my life in South Bendito. I'm a 5th-year graduate student in chemical engineering at Notre Dame. So my research project is focused on catalytic converters, specifically for diesel applications. I actually collaborate with a company that's based in Columbus, Indiana called Cummins, who makes these for diesel vehicles. And what my individual project is to try to understand from a microscopic level how these materials work so that we can influence the design of materials that are even more effective at converting harmful products from exhaust into clean products. So I took a faculty job at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville in chemical engineering. So I'll start there August of next year. For the intervening rest of the time in between, I'm going to be at Stanford as a postdoc.
Okay, now for the formal citations. I ask each of the winners to rise as I call their name. In the Division of Science, the Shaheen winner is Renee Boley. Renee is celebrated for her research on the discovery of a new class of antibiotics that fight resistant infections. Renee's work has received numerous awards. In 2013, she was one of 5 students in the United States to be awarded an American Chemical Society Division of Medicinal Chemistry Fellowship. Furthermore, she was the recipient of a Baxter Young Investigator Award in a national competition, and in 2015, a National Institutes of Health Ruth L. Kirstein National Research Service Award, Predoctoral F31 Fellowship, becoming the first student in her department to win this prestigious fellowship. In 2016, she was the recipient of the Dow Chemical Outstanding Graduate Student Award. Professors Maylin Chang and Shahryar Mobashari describe Renee as an exceptional scientist who began her training as a synthetic organic chemist and then branched out to cover biochemistry, organic chemistry, pharmacology, microbiology, and structural biology. Her training was also international, including a semester in a lab of Professor Juan Hermoso in Madrid, Spain. Her nominators praised her multifaceted skills, saying Renee's strength is her ability to use multiple tools from various disciplines to solve complex biomedical problems. Please join me in congratulating Renee. In the Division of Humanities, the Shaheen winner is Matthew Kuiper. Matthew is honored for his exceptional contributions as a graduate student and teacher, and in recognition of groundbreaking research and scholarship on contemporary Dawah, Islamic teaching or mission. His innovative and interdisciplinary dissertation has been transformed into a book that is scheduled to be published by Routledge in 2018. This work was undoubtedly informed by the decade that he spent in India, where his interest in diverse religious expression and an interreligious dialogue developed, along with his capacity for languages, being fluent in Urdu, Hindi, classical Arabic, French, and German, all of which he uses in his scholarly work. In addition to his book manuscript, his nominators note that during his graduate training, Matthew also researched and published 4 articles and chapters, which in their words is staggering. Research and publications are not the only areas in which Matthew excelled as a graduate student. He also stood out as an instructor of record, teaching 2 sections of a course of his own design on interreligious encounter and dialogue. According to Joseph Warrico, Matthew's director of graduate studies, reviews of his teaching, both through formal instruments and very positive word of mouth, is clear testimony of his students' appreciation of Matt's ability to inform and inspire. Please join me in congratulating Matthew. In the Division of Social Sciences, the Shaheen winner is Laura Gamboa Gutierrez. Laura is recognized for her research on latent issues of authoritarianism in democratic politics, examining why and how some elected officials may become autocrats and what the opposition can do to resist this. In the course of her research, Laura developed an exhaustive knowledge of political events in Venezuela and Colombia. Her ability to weave facts together into a persuasive and logical causal story has already resulted in the placement of a sole-authored publication based on her dissertation in Comparative Politics, the lead journal in her field. Laura has also published several articles with her colleagues on vote buying in Latin America. In addition to her research acumen, Laura is a highly regarded teacher, designing numerous mini-courses in statistical methods within a variety of undergraduate courses. According to Director of Graduate Studies, Ben Radcliffe, her office hours are oversubscribed by students seeking her assistance, leading him to note that Laura contributed to both graduate and undergraduate education to an astonishing degree. More generally, in summing up her incredible graduate career, Professor Radcliffe says, "I can think of no single student in my 20-plus years at Notre Dame who has made more of a positive impact on the intellectual life of my department." Please join me in congratulating Laura. In the Division of Engineering, the Shaheen winner is Christopher Paolucci. Chris is honored for his seminal work involving computer simulation of catalysts, such as those used in cars, to convert the toxic byproducts of fuel, like nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, into less hazardous substances, such as carbon dioxide, water vapor. His computational approach has been well received by his field. For example, his site counting model was an essential part of 2 publications within the Journal of Catalysis in 2014, and one of which was among the 5 most downloaded articles in 2015. According to his nominators, with exceptional productivity in experiments, modeling, and journal publications, he is already operating at the level of a successful junior faculty member. Moreover, Chris has received major travel and poster awards from all of the regional and national societies in catalysis, and his work has received recognition outside of his field, as signaled by his winning the 2015 Computational Molecular Science and Engineering Forum Graduate Student Award from the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, a national competition open to all areas of molecular modeling, and the 2016 Notre Dame Center for Research Computing Award. In addition to his remarkable technical ability and drive, his PhD advisor, Bill Schneider, notes that Chris is fearless in speaking up in a professional setting, gives spectacularly prepared presentations on his work, and is well known and respected across the professional catalysis community in the United States and abroad. Please join me in congratulating Chris. The next Graduate School Award is the Distinguished Alumnus Award, which is given to an individual who's received a graduate degree from the university, for which you all will now be eligible in the future, and who has made significant and distinctive contributions to his or her field, community, or society at large. The winner this year is Dr. Augusto de la Torre. I'll ask Dr. de la Torre to please rise. We proudly recognize him for his leadership and insight as an economist with expertise in Latin America and the Caribbean. Advised by Dr. Quan Kim, Dr. de la Torre received his PhD in economics from Notre Dame in 1988. Foreshadowing his later achievements, he notes in the introduction to his dissertation that his research fills a gap in existing research on Ecuador and contributes to a better understanding of the oil boom. The significance of his dissertation work is its impact, both theoretical and practical, bringing forth the type of concrete knowledge that, although unreachable through formal modeling and deductive reasoning alone, could serve as a point of departure for new advancements. Described by his nominators as one of the world's most prominent economists who works on Latin America, for the past 30 years, his numerous books and publications have had an irrefutable impact on theory and policy at national, regional, and global levels. In each professional role that he has held since leaving Notre Dame, from his time as an International Monetary Fund economist, to his service as the president of Ecuador's central bank, to his 20-year career at the World Bank, and now to his teaching at Columbia, Dr. de la Torre has dedicated his career to thinking carefully about financial development in emerging economies and articulating Latin America's contribution to the world. He has advocated for policy that recognizes the role of developing countries and noted that going forward, it has to be a conversation that requires the presence, the voice, and the actions of emerging markets. For his advancement of economic theory and its application to the development of sound and sustainable policy for Latin America, please join me in recognizing Dr. de la Torre as our recipient of the Distinguished Alumnus Award. We now honor a faculty member as the winner of the James A. Burns CSC Award, an award named for the first Notre Dame president with an advanced degree and given for distinction in the graduate teaching or other exemplary contributions to graduate education. This year's winner is Patrick Griffin, the Maiden Hannenbury Professor of History. I ask Dr. Griffin to rise. We honor Professor Griffin for exemplary graduate mentorship and for fostering an international community of scholars for our graduate students. A scholar of American history, Professor Griffin studies the imperial nations of the Atlantic, including the 18th century British, French, Spanish, and Portuguese empires, and their intersection with the revolutionary impulses of the American colonies. Through his research, he has expanded the scope and definition of United States history by insisting on the transnational and even global dimensions of the American past. Professor Griffin has applied his innovative techniques to graduate education, creating the Global Dome Dissertation Accelerator, a pioneering cross-disciplinary initiative developed in partnership with Professor Elliot Visconsi for graduate students in history and in English. This 3-week summer program, situated at the Global Gateway in London, is designed to jumpstart research projects and introduce Notre Dame doctoral students to graduate students from Oxford, Edinburgh, and King's College London. This intensive experience includes workshops, seminars, and networking events that enable students to formulate their research ideas early, get started on research in British archives, and make contacts with fellow students and potential academic mentors in an international context. Professor Griffin's boundless energy and dedication to graduate training is also evident in his devoted role as an advisor to 12 students while simultaneously serving as department chair for the past 6 years. In the nominating words of Dean John McGreevy, he is much admired for his careful and thoughtful supervision, for long advising meetings and incisive comments on drafts, and for his tireless advocacy and unfailing availability. For the envisioning of new connections in his field, for his efforts to support intellectual community among Notre Dame graduate students, and for his dedication to advising and mentoring, please join me in congratulating Professor Patrick Griffin. The next Graduate School Award is the Director of Graduate Studies Award, which recognizes the Director of Graduate Studies who has had a significant impact on graduate students in their program. This year's winner is Professor Peter Cholik in the Department of Mathematics. We recognize Professor Cholik for his dedicated work on behalf of graduate students with sweeping initiatives that impact the full arc of their graduate careers from the moment of recruitment through to commencement. For example, in his thoughtful focus on student recruitment has resulted in a pool of applications the department chair described as the largest, strongest, and most diverse the math department has ever seen. In the words of his chair, Professor Cholik has worked to ensure a presence at the largest conference in the country aimed at prospective minority mathematicians, helped place minority students from other universities in summer research programs organized by the math department, and encouraged women graduate students to connect with each other and take advantage of opportunities afforded by organizations such as the American Women in Mathematics. Moreover, the recruits that have become students have benefited from his efforts to create an inclusive climate for students of all backgrounds, creating a boot camp for incoming students with crash courses taught by veteran graduate students to bring the students up to speed and become integrated into the life of the program. Professor Cholik is also commended for his encouragement of students to apply for competitive fellowships with spectacular results, including the department's first National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship in more than a decade. For his tireless advocacy on behalf of mathematics graduate students, and for the many ways his leadership has inspired an inclusive and intellectual climate within his program, please join me in congratulating Professor Peter Cholik. The final Graduate School Award is the inaugural presentation of the Dick and Peggy Noterbart Award, to be given annually to a faculty or administrator who has had a significant impact on graduate studies or graduate student development in Notre Dame, and named after Dick and Peggy. This year's winner is Professor Matthew Capdeville, Director of the University Writing Center. We honor Professor Capdeville for his sustained commitment to professional development of graduate students at the University of Notre Dame. As one of the founding members of the professional development team, Professor Capdeville has worked tirelessly in his role as the director of the Writing Center to transform a largely undergraduate-focused unit in 2010 to a current high-demand resource for graduate students, developing a slate of workshops that demystify the publication process and provide training and tactics for effectively presenting research to both academic and non-academic audiences. A notable example is the popular week-long dissertation boot camp administered in close partnership with the Hesburgh Library that offers programming, writing space, and food during academic breaks to enable students to make a deep dive into their writing projects. Not only does Professor Capdeville foster the skills of graduate students who come to the Writing Center for assistance, he also cultivates the professional development of the graduate student tutors in the Writing Center and in related units around campus, such as the consultants in the Office of Grants and Fellowships, and the Fellows of the English for Academic Purposes program, and the graduate students working in the Caneb Center. His work is notable for the preparation it provides these tutors and consultants as future leaders and educators. As one of Dr. Capdeville's former writing mentors attests, my peers and I are better, more engaged teachers as a result of his leadership. For his dedication and collaborative leadership to foster professional development and engaged mentorship for graduate students from across all colleges and degree programs, please join me in recognizing Dr. Matthew Capdeville. You guys ready? Yes. You've been patient. We now recognize those students who have earned a master's degree. A master's degree is an important accomplishment achieved by less than 8% of the U.S. population. The students to whom we award degrees today have achieved a level of expertise that sets them apart professionally. I now call on Professor John McGreevy, the Dean of the College of Arts and Letters, to present his candidates for master's degrees.
Will the candidates for the following master's degree in the College of Arts and Letters please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Master of Arts, Master of Divinity, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Medieval Studies, Master of Sacred Music, and Master of Theological Studies. Tochukwu S. Aga, Onitsha, Nigeria, Theology. Mary Cecilia Aloya, Riverside, California, Romance Languages. Zachary Adam Anderson, Cheyenne, Wyoming, English. Catalina Ararat Ospina, Cali, Colombia, History. Stephen C.S. Barani, South Bend, Theology. Brittany Teresa Marie Baucom, Bradenton, Florida, Theology. Jose de Jesus Beltran Aldaco, Guadalajara, Mexico, Theology. Vincent Richard Birch, Albany, New York, Theology. Anne Marie Bleesner, Denver, Colorado, English. Lorenzo Bonatti, South Bend, Indiana, Romance Languages. Brian Joseph Boyd, Georgetown, Texas, Theology. Michael Joseph Bradley, South Bend, Indiana, Theology. Christopher William Brennan, Granger, Indiana, Theology. Jennifer Ann Brewer, Senatobia, Mississippi, theology. Cameron James Brownell, Colchester, Vermont, sacred music. Isabella Frances Burns, Gold River, California, sacred music. Cassandra Bustamante, San Antonio, Texas, theology. Bridget Ann Marie Carey, Charlotte, North Carolina, theology. Kelsey Dawn Castaneda, Columbia, Kentucky, English. Claire Elizabeth Sepla, Vernon Hills, Illinois, theology. Brian Elliott Sarabona, Arlington Heights, Illinois, theology. Timothy William Cleaver, Granger, theology. Enrique A. Colon, Searcy, Arkansas, design. Daniela Contreras Perez Sosa, Caracas, Venezuela, Romance languages. Mariella Ann Courtois, Parker, Colorado, theology. Ariane Danielle De Silva, Trinidad and Tobago, psychology. Sebastian Ekberg, Stockholm, Sweden, theology. Catherine Farrell Rolfe, Montreal, Canada, theology. Pavel Figurski, Raciaz, Poland, theology. Edgar A. Gamboa, Prunedale, California, theology. Haley Morgan Geddick, Indianapolis, Indiana, psychology. Valentina Jerry, Follonica, Italy, Romance languages. Lauriane Angel Emily Guihard, Redon, France, Romance languages. Roger Allen Helmkamp, Carmel, Indiana, theology. Laura Patricia Herrera Leendo, Ilo, Peru, Romance languages. Sarah Elizabeth Kearns Shutrop, West Milford, New Jersey, theology. Matthew Ryan Kelly, Manassas, Virginia, sacred music. Laura Marie Lemna, Noblesville, Indiana, art studio. Michaela Nicole Maria Leva, Seattle, Washington, political science. Deandra Bari Lieberman, Tyler, Texas, theology. Jennifer Marie Line, Wausau, Wisconsin, theology. Philip S. Lomneth, Omaha, Nebraska, theology. Luis Damian Lopez Maldonado, Orange, California, English. Mark Francis Mariani, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, theology. Brendan J. McAleer, CSC, Arlington Heights, Illinois, theology. Lynette Danielle McCarthy, Chicago, art studio. Timothy Earl Neal, Chula Vista, California, art studio. Kyle Martin Nicholas, Crystal Lake, Illinois, theology. Julius Osebe Okoji, Nigeria, theological studies. William Robert Olson, Mendota Heights, Minnesota, theology. Andrea Carolina Pena Vasquez, Port St. Lucie, Florida, political science. Stephanie Alexandra Petrie, Pearland, Texas, theology. Simon Jude Pick, Remsen, Iowa, Sacred Music. Michael R. Plagerman, Ephrata, Washington, Sacred Music. Christopher Stephen Quiros, San Diego, California, Sociology. Noah Rankins, Bowling Green, Ohio, Sociology. Caroline Marie Reuter, Metairie, Louisiana, Theology. Imorja Gihan Roberson, Jacksonville, Florida, Sacred Music. Rebecca Rulvakaba, South Bend, Indiana, Theology. Robert Brayman Schmelza, Tucson, Arizona, Theology. Maria Lucia Smith, Temple, Texas, Sacred Music. Alyssa Ann Suchek, Prior Lake, Minnesota, Theology. Lauren Kathleen Squires, Brandon, South Dakota, Sociology. Connor M. Stark, Madison, New Jersey, Theology. Nicole Christine Strasser, Douglas, Wyoming, Theology. Laura Beth Thompson, Plymouth, Minnesota, Art Studio. Sister An T. Kim Tron, OP, Haiphong, Vietnam, Theology. James Robert Tull, Cincinnati, Ohio, Theology. Juan Angel Valdez Jr., Westlaco, Texas, Political Science. Timothy Robert Weed, CSC, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Theology. Marissa Ann Welch, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Theology. Crystal Alexandra Zapata Lopez, Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, Romance Languages. Megan O'Brien Crane, Ho-Ho-Cust, New Jersey, Master of Divinity, Theology. Joseph Vamad, Skokie, Illinois, Theology. Cody David, Phoenix, Arizona, Theology. Reverend Father President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirement for a master's degree from the College of Arts and Letters.
I now call on Professor Peter Kilpatrick, the Dean of the College of Engineering, to present his candidates for master's degrees.
Will the candidates for the following master's degrees in the College of Engineering please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering, Chemical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Computer Science and Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Environmental Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, and the Master of Science in Science, Engineering, Science, and Technology Entrepreneurship called the STEAM. Please come forward. Adrian Ronaldo Olivar Aquino, Muntinlupa City, Philippines, Electrical Engineering. Christopher Thomas Broker, Zionsville, Indiana, Esteem. Matthew Rosher Brooks, Weston, Connecticut, Esteem. Marissa Elizabeth Cameron, Garden City, New York, Esteem. Kellen Ryan Carney, Medina, Minnesota, Esteem. Sean Michael Cook, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Esteem. Ava Marie Costello, Galway, Ireland, esteem. William David Cole Cravat, Phoenix, Arizona, esteem. Alex James Curry, Dartmouth, Massachusetts, esteem. Alexandra Naomi Dawson, Irvine, California, esteem. Davis DeFontes, Santa Ana, California, esteem. Dominique Alphonse Daniel DiGiovanni, Franklin, Tennessee, electrical engineering. Connor J. Einertson, St. Louis, Missouri, esteem. Herman Estrada Mendoza, Lima, Peru, esteem. Nicholas Dean Filmer, Whitestown, New York, electrical engineering. Ken Shan Fu, Gaithersburg, Maryland, esteem. Kong Gao, Huanggang, Hubei, People's Republic of China, electrical engineering. Paul R. Goebel, Garden City Park, New York, esteem. Neil Thomas Grogan, Galway, Ireland, esteem. Nitesh Gudapati, Vijayawada, India, esteem. David Hardwick, Cork, Ireland, esteem. Nesson David Harper, Dublin, Ireland, esteem. Ralph Kayat, Aleppo, Syria, esteem. Zachary Nicholas Hickey, Sligo, Ireland, esteem. Margot Therese Hewen, San Francisco, California, esteem. Michael David Hunkler, South Bend, Indiana, mechanical engineering. Taylor James Richard Johnson, Fairfield, Montana, esteem. Benjamin Stephen Kelty, Louisville, Kentucky, esteem. David J. Laston II, Clayton, Indiana, esteem. Constanza Lengrick, Concepcion, Chile, esteem. Anjing Lu, Shenyang, People's Republic of China, computer science and engineering. Trevor William Logan, Ridgecrest, California, electrical engineering. Owen Martin, Clane, Ireland, esteem. Matthew Garrett McGrath, Redmond, Washington, computer science and engineering. Andrew Joel McNally, Chisago City, Minnesota, mechanical engineering. Alex Mellott, Cortland, Ohio, esteem. Aaron Malloy, Galway, Ireland, esteem. Nancy Nguyen, Revere, Massachusetts, esteem. Gabrielle Marie Polofsky, Cheektowaga, New York, chemical engineering. Sarah Ellen Prezick, New Lenox, Illinois, esteem. Connor James Ratzis, Cleveland, Ohio, esteem. Roy Salem Anthony Saikali, Beckley, West Virginia, esteem. Ethan Conrad Sauer, South Bend, Indiana, esteem. Christopher Michael Stepien, Belleville, Michigan, esteem. Emily Tokarowski, Unadilla, New York, esteem. Xiaobin Wu, Quanzhou, People's Republic of China, aerospace and mechanical engineering. Abdullah Gure Yaklikci, Ankara, Turkey, computer science and engineering. Victoria Margaret Zellerhoff, Federal Way, Washington, esteem. Yinhao Zhu, Hefei, People's Republic of China, electrical engineering. Madeline Ruth Zupan, Ashland, Ohio, esteem. John Duff Kenny, Jr., Orono, Minnesota, esteem. And Brendan Hughes, St. Johnsbury, Vermont, esteem. Reverend Father President, I'm very pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for a master's degree from the College of Engineering.
I now call on Professor Scott Appleby, the Dean of the Keough School of Global Affairs, to present his candidates for master's degrees.
Will the candidates for the Master of Arts in Peace Studies degree in the Keough School of Global Affairs please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Evelyn Otwili Akulu, Gulu, Uganda. Mohammed Taha Al-Isa, Irbid, Jordan. Majd Al-Shufi, Al-Swaida, Syria. Isaac Bayor, Nadwali, Ghana. Catherine Marie Coldwell, Excelsior, Minnesota. Henry Damba Nemuya, Nyanga, Zimbabwe. Kata Fodor, Szeged, Hungary. Luis Alfonso Miranda Perez, Puerto Barrios, Guatemala. Clint Robert Nias, Newburgh, Oregon. Adrienne Nyangabo, Bujumbura, Burundi. Vincent R. Ogoti, Nairobi, Kenya. Natalia Romanova, Ryazan, Russian Federation. Karen Juliana Skausbow, Evanston, Illinois. Carolina Serrano Idrova, Bogota, Colombia. Valeria Alejandra Vasquez Guevara, Vittorio Gasteiz, Spain. Rebecca Ann Williams, Boise, Idaho. Reverend Father President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for a Master of Peace Studies degree in the Keough School of Global Affairs.
I now call on Professor Mary Galvin, the Dean of the College of Science, to present her candidates for master's degrees.
Will the candidates for the Master of Science degrees in the College of Science please come forward at the direction of the marshals? Master of Science in Interdisciplinary Mathematics, Master of Science. Neil Thomas Burkle, Troy, Illinois, Chemistry. Lainey Bristow, Lake Villa, Illinois, Biological Sciences. Mary Hanson Logan, Ridgecrest, California, Applied and Computational Math and Statistics. Bua Huang, Beijing People's Republic of China, Applied and Computational Math and Statistics. James Martin Kelly, Westerville, Ohio, Physics. Zhaojian Liu, Shenzhen, People's Republic of China, Applied and Computational Math and Statistics. Rosette Nicolou, Lubumbashi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Chemistry. Christopher Matthew Porter, Decatur, Illinois, Chemistry. Audra Michelle White, Mishawaka, Indiana, Biological Sciences. Yang Shu, Jiyang, Jizhou, People's Republic of China, Applied and Computational Math and Statistics. Jinhee Ye, Beijing, People's Republic of China, Mathematics. Reverend Father President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who have completed the requirements for the degree of Masters in the College of Science.
Thank you. Deans, all master's degree recipients, please rise. By the authority vested in me as president of the University of Notre Dame du Lac, and in the name of the trustees of the university and its faculty, I solemnly and publicly confer on you the degree recommended by your dean. We admit you to all its rights and privileges and remind you of the responsibilities you are about to assume. May God bless you and keep you. Congratulations and best wishes. Graduates, you did it. It's your day. But while the accomplishments are truly your own, you know you didn't do it all alone. You may have done the studying, but your families and loved ones did the sweating and the stressing along with you. They cheered on your successes and cheered you up at your setbacks. They are sitting behind you today, and they have been behind you every step of the way on this journey. So to the mothers and fathers, siblings and spouses, friends and relatives, thank you and congratulations. This day belongs to you. Graduates, let's stand up and give them a round of applause. Graduates, you're a distinguished class, and your degree represents a major step forward in your lives as well as the life of the university. We're a university traditionally known for undergraduate education, and we increasingly take our place among the distinguished graduate programs in the world. The growth is due not only to distinguished faculty and academic leaders, though it is, but also to the scholarly accomplishments and contribution you graduate students have made and will make. We are proud to call you graduates. Your degree represents what you, through your talent and hard work, have accomplished and your promise for the future. They give you the right to expect much as you go out into the world. They also indicate what the world has to expect from you. What is that? Certainly the highest level of learning in your fields. But at Notre Dame, we hope for something more. We hope that you will use the advantages of the education you received here for the common good. We hope that we'll use the talents and skills not simply to serve your own interests, but to care for the neediest and create a more just society. We hope that you acquired here not only knowledge to make a good living, but the wisdom to live a good life. A critical part of living a good life is finding a way in which you are called to use your learning for purposes beyond yourself. As Pope Francis said, we must not forget that true power, at whatever level, is service. My hope for each of you is that you find a way to direct your learning and efforts to service. As you could tell today, I have to mention something about our speaker. He is an extraordinary leader. He has been a steadfast supporter of graduate education. I personally owe a great deal of gratitude to Dick Notabart for his leadership, vision, and support, and for his coaching of me, as he talked about the coaching he received. He and his wife Peggy are cherished friends to me and to many here at Notre Dame. Dick's vision and leadership helped transform this university, and he directed it in a special way to the graduate school. During his tenure as chairman, we attracted our most diverse and academically competitive students ever, provided more financial aid, welcomed more low-income students, launched the largest construction program in our history, and grew our endowment to record levels, and realized historic levels of research funding. More importantly, mindful of the example of our patroness, Mary, his service has always been characterized by humility, grace, and generosity beyond all measure. I am pleased that you were able to hear from him today, and I want to thank him for all he's done for Notre Dame. As we conclude, let us bow our heads in prayer. Lord, we ask your blessings on these graduates. We thank you for the time they spent here, for all they've learned. We thank you for the wonderful support they've received from families and friends, for the inspired education they've received from our faculty. We ask your blessing on each of them as they go forth from here. Help them to put their learning to service. And we ask all these things through our patroness, Notre Dame, our mother, and through our Lord. Amen.
This now concludes the University of Notre Dame's Graduate School Commencement. After singing Notre Dame, Our Mother, which will be led by 4 students who received their master's degree today, Cameron Brunell, Matthew Kelly, Amorja Robertson, and Isabella Burns. We will sing that, and then the platform party will recess. I ask that all guests and graduates remain at their seats until we've left the hall. And we invite families, friends, and advisors to join the graduates for refreshments at the reception on the second level. Now please stand and join in singing Notre Dame, Our Mother.